just mentioned Texas. Quinn Ewers announces he's staying. And I'll be straight up. I'm not looking to stir anything up here. I really am not. But straight up, I would not have thought Arch Manning would go to a school where he would sit for 2 years. I just didn't think that in a million years. And that's the way it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah,
Is that really, that's cool? Like that, there's nothing.
I don't think the Ewers staying was a surprise to anybody, like kind of who'd watched him. Because it wasn't, there's nobody I know, and this goes back to coaches who played him this year who thought Quinn Ewers was going to come in and be a top 15 pick after what he did this year. Like, he's talented, and he was hyped and significantly coming out of high school. But I don't think anybody looked at it and go, oh, yeah, he's going to go in there and crush it, and then he's going to bounce as soon as he can to go to the NFL. I mean, this is a deep quarterback draft. Because you obviously have Caleb, you have Drake May, you have the Heisman winner who's made leaps and bounds at LSU since he's been there, in Jaden Daniels. You have J.J. McCarthy, who's definitely talented. There's a bunch of other guys in there who are really good quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I mean, to think that Quinn Ewers would have, maybe he would have been the fifth quarterback, I don't even know that.
Oh, this has nothing to do with Quinn Ewers' choice. It's got to do with, I never thought Arch Manning, when he said he's going to Texas, would be sitting for 2 years. I just didn't think, or that the Mannings would be cool with it, or that was part of the plan going in.
But then if that's the case, then go to a smaller program where your competition isn't as such, where you're like, I think, playing at the level he played at, it wasn't like he was playing at Mater Dei or St. John Bosco or one of these programs that is playing incredibly high level competition every week in high school football. I mean, everything I had heard is Texas likes Arch Manning, but, he had a lot of area to grow in terms of consistency, what they'd see practice to practice. I think this is a really good thing for Arch Manning to sit for another year and keep developing, because I think if, a different case would have been, okay, does he want to transfer to Tulane? I'm not saying this was ever a mix where like Ty Thompson, the backup at Oregon, decided to go, where you have a program where the quarterback who just came from there, Michael Pratt, who I think will be a good NFL quarterback, but it's home. You're at a good program. Right now, there's a really good coach in there in John Sumrall, and you can see what happens. But I think there's a lot of quarterbacks when you are totally unproven in college football. What you did in high school doesn't carry that much weight no matter what your last name is. I mean, Malachi Nelson was a quarterback who ESPN ranked as the top player in the last recruiting class, was a 5-star guy, went to USC. He wasn't going to have huge offers once he transferred out of USC because he didn't have anything to show for it. It wasn't like they were raving about what he did there. He's going to Boise State. The other guy who was a 5-star guy who's played more, certainly more than Arch and Malachi, Dante Moore, but had a bunch of pick sixes at UCLA. He's going to Oregon, but he's going there knowing he's going to be the backup, and he's going to sit there for another year and just try to learn and develop. So I think what's happened in the portal is, yeah, it's great you were a 4 or 5-star guy out of high school, or it's great you had this big reputation. But if you don't have film in from real college film, I think people are like, we need to see something from it before they're going to say, hey, we trust you to run our program.
Well, listen, obviously, who am I to tell the Mannings about quarterback development? Obviously, they are expert at that. And certainly when it comes to one of their actual flesh and blood, I am sure they know what is best. I'm just, again, kind of surprised that Arch Manning would be sitting. At some point, he's going to play, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's going to have to play. And because we keep talking about, of course, Caleb Williams is going to declare. Of course, I get why J.J. McCarthy is going right now, because anybody who goes now starts the clock towards potentially excelling and getting that second contract that would make NIL money look like chump change in the NFL. And who knows that better than the Mannings as well? At some point, Arch is going to have to start this clock.
But I think unlike a lot of the other people we're talking about, I'm guessing, and I don't know their finances, Arch Manning is not going to need to work to,
I get it.
They've got generational money already, around him. I think the best case for him is, and obviously they know better than me, but the best case for him is go somewhere where I can be developed And then I will be sort of like, and the other thing is Quinn Ewers has been banged up, had shoulder injuries the last 2 years where he's missed time. So it's not to say he can't get on the field next year. I think the point is going to be keep learning, keep developing, because he definitely had a lot of stuff to learn and physically develop. And then in 2025, you can be ready to hit the ground running, as opposed to, all right, I just need to get on the field because I'm in some big hurry where I may, take 2 steps back to get on the field. And then I'm someplace where maybe it's not as good around me, or maybe the system isn't what we want. I mean, they obviously chose Texas for a reason. And all those things are still in place. And if anything, I feel like the plan, if you're objectively looking back going, all right, I'm more sold on my decision to go to Texas. By the way, Malik Murphy, who's like throws it better than both of those guys, he's transferred out. Like, he's no longer there. He was the backup. And so I think that cleared a path. Now, if Malik Murphy had decided to stay, then all of a sudden now is Arch the number 3. That would have been, to me, a bigger question mark. But now that, that has changed. And I think as the number 2, you get more reps. You certainly will be in position if Quinn Ewers does get hurt again, to be in line to jump in and be ready.
That's why you're here, to give us the clear-eyed analysis. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.